back to the Sporty Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Santa Claus. Join me. Right, okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Plenty happens this weekend that's worth talking about. Let's work our way down. Man City losing again. Did you see that, Daniel? Did you see that picture? Well, it was that Premier League table from the start of November to now, and yeah, Man City are bottom, and Southampton are above them. So yeah, that really does go to show, with a 2-1 loss.
Man City should get relegated.
Yeah.
Even with all the cases.
Yep, indeed. They might not even need them to get relegated now. But yeah, what would you say that this has all been happening since the court case actually kicked off? So would you say that that's probably played a very large part in the drop in form?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I know this is nothing to do with it, but it's so backfired when City beat Arsenal and Haaland went stay humble there, and now all of a sudden it's gone all the other way.
Yeah.
Maybe they just got a bit too ahead of themselves, or they just got a bit cocky. That's what I would have said from Haaland saying stay humble there, as I never knew he would have said that.
Yeah, they've had this come in for a very long time. So yeah, Super Sunday.
All these days.
Yeah, indeed, Super Sunday was certainly super. Liverpool hitting Tottenham for 6 away from home. That doesn't happen very often, and yeah, I seriously think that Ange Postecoglou's job is in serious danger. In fact, I was actually with a Tottenham fan on Sunday who was saying how much he wanted Ange out.
Right, I'm gonna say I don't know, because I rated him at the start. I don't want him to get sacked, as I really think he's got it. I know he's got a football in there somewhere. It's just, he's not really executed this year. It's just not been perfect. I would say give him the opportunity, because he is in a cup semi-final. He is in that semi-final. That gives him that chance to, win them the trophy. Are you dipping in mince pies for hot chocolate, by the way?
I'm still sorry to interrupt. To you. Why? It's cold. But yeah.
Okay. This is very festive.
So yeah, so he can still certainly win them a trophy this season. Of course, a lot of Tottenham fans can see this as potentially an opportunity for revenge against Liverpool for the 2019 UCL final.
I'd say the only way he doesn't get sacked is because of this cup semi-final.
Yeah.
Unless his form in the Premier League absolutely sucks to rock bottom, then I would keep him until that cup semi-final, which I know leaves him about 3 months at the end of the season, which means it'd be a wasteful season. But if you really want a trophy that bad, it's all or nothing.
Yeah. So for example, if Tottenham go on to lose the next 10 games, and including a loss to Tamworth in the FA Cup, would you say out?
Well, I'd say out if he lost to Tamworth.
Yeah.
Have Ryan Mason as an interim for what feels like his 5,000th stint.
Yeah.
He was into Millwall once upon a time.
Mm-hmm. So another thing from the Prem, worth talking about. Bukayo Saka's hamstring injury.
Oh, yeah.
So how much did you have a loss? Because he's going to be out for Arteta. Mikel Arteta said many, many weeks. So how much of a loss do you reckon that'll be for Arsenal, even though they've got plenty of depth in their squad?
It's a loss, but the only reason they've lost Saka, no one could blame themselves but Arteta. It's completely Arteta's fault.
Yeah.
I know it seems really hard, but how many minutes did this guy play without being excited? He'd play every single game, no matter what. I'm not shocked he got injured before, because it's really Arteta's fault that he's injured, because he's fatigued so much, because the amount he plays him, he needs to. Arteta's got something. He's got good football. Don't get me wrong. He can make something. He needs to learn to rotate his squad every once in a while.
Yeah, of course. That's what every team has to do once in a while. Eventually, for cup games, for example, he's played in some of the League Cup games. He's had played a very rotated squad. For example, for that Bolton game, he put a 17-year-old in goal. But yeah, you need to be giving players chances. And for example. One thing I really liked about Gareth Southgate as the England manager, he gave players chances. Well,
Did he?
Yeah, he kept on starting Harry Maguire. I mean, that says
That's
something.
not a chance though. That's just him going with the players he trusted.
Yeah, but yeah. So enough about that, really. So moving on to the next point.
Got a lot of Premier League here,
No,
guys.
it is.
Stay
This we're
tuned.
still on Prem at the moment. Southampton getting a very good and credible 0-0 draw at Fulham. To them, that is a massive away point, and Ivan Juric has got a massive job on his shoulders, and that could be potentially the start of him. He's got a mountain to climb. He's got probably one of the biggest jobs of his
Yeah.
career right now.
I mean, he wasn't that great at what was he at? Hellas Verona?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's at the business. I just saw where they were because I wanted to see, is this guy any good? He's at the business end of the relegation zone in Serie A. I mean, unless there's somehow he produces magic, but I heard he's going to be, according to Aaron Ramsdale and what I've heard, Juric is going to bring a very aggressive style to Southampton, which I think that's what Russell Martins was trying to do in the past, which
Yeah.
basically what I'm trying to say is Juric is not going to last long unless he plays some nice, very good defensive or counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
And that's why Southampton should have appointed Neil Harris. No, anyway, I'm joking. But
Yeah.
Ivan Juric, unless, well, it's just going to be down to what we see in the first few weeks, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I'm not expecting anything in the first game because he's not really had much time. Give it the first month or two, that's when you start analysing to see if he's the right guy.
Yeah, how long do you think it's going to be until he's able to secure his work permit? Because he hasn't got that yet.
Oh Christ! I didn't even know. Don't ask me that question.
Fair enough. Yeah. So probably last point before we get onto probably the main thing of the Premier League weekend that we want to talk about. Everton got a very honestly, what they'll see is they've picked up two very good points against Arsenal and now Chelsea. So, yeah, it was very good defensive football. There was very good defending. And, they always seem to, get decent results against Chelsea when they're playing at Goodison Park.
That is Dyche Ball right there. Former Millwall legend, Sean Dyche. What a man. But I don't know why. He seems to get good results against big teams. This is what he's done with Burnley before. I mean, he should really be pushing forward with Everton,
They
but
got him into Europe.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if Everton are going to really push anywhere this year, especially if they lose Jared Brantwaite in January. But no, they've had a good 2 weeks, getting 2 good points. Maybe if they go get a win next week, I'd say, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
But you've missed out something Premier League. I'm going to do it myself. This is my time to shine.
Okay,
right.
here you go.
Man United 0. AFC Bournemouth 3. Bournemouth absolutely battered Man United, and that shows why Iraola is actually one of the most underrated managers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you, Ranulph, what are your thoughts on Amorim and this defeat for Man United? Do you think Amorim's having a struggling start? Do you think he's not fit for this level? What's your take?
To be honest, I think that eventually people are going to realise that it's not as much the manager, but you need to be thinking. The players need to be taking responsibility as well. For example, that tackle by I think Mazraoui for that penalty which Kluivert scored. It's ridiculous. It was stonewall. United looked clueless all game, and Bruno Fernandes, honestly, he acts like a baby. In a lot of matches, he acts like an absolute prat, as Mark Goldbridge would say very well. But the players need to take responsibility as well. It's not just the manager's fault. They've been saying that for years, but that's just not true.
Before we obviously go to the Championship, I want to ask you something else about United.
Yeah,
Is Amorim right to be not starting Rashford or Garnacho?
Yes.
Dropping Garnacho
No, he's wrong. I'll say
Okay.
that instantly. I think that Marcus Rashford is underrated. I think he will leave.
No, he's just good under a new manager every year.
I think he will. I think at some point, I think in January he will leave. I think he will go to another Premier League team, preferably West Ham. I think that would be West Ham need to sign a forward. in
No,
January.
they don't.
Yeah, well, Fulkrug's. We never know. You never know when bloody Fulkrug's gonna start. Antonio's out, and
Well, we know that. He's probably going to retire.
he needs somewhere to go. Well, that honestly does depend on how the next 7 months go, but yeah, Garnacho as well. I think that it's ridiculous that he didn't start because
He's dropped it completely.
He's United's star. He's United's shining star. Honestly, he has been since last year, and like not starting him, it's just ridiculous, and it's just poor management, really. If Amarim's already losing the changing room, then that does not say good things for him, and that does say quite a lot about Man United and what they do to good managers as well. Like, for example, Ten Hag, he was doing all right at Ajax, and then he came to United, it all fell apart. And same can be said with Solskjaer. So, yeah, it's not.
Solskjaer was bad at Cardiff originally, so maybe it's a bit different. But anyway, back over to you. You can highlight your championship now that I made my point.
The EFL Championship, the most entertaining in the country. So,
as a Norwich fan said,
the Canaries, Norwich City's bloody away woes continue. Yep, 2-1 to Sunderland. Honestly, a bad
Friendship Trophy loss.
Yeah, a bad day all around. Really good first half, and then we just lost it in the second half. Game of two halves, as a lot of people would say. It was just poor. I don't think there was like a Norwich player who I thought in particular looked really good. I thought that as much as I absolutely love Borja Sainz, and I've got that.
Oh.
I've got this. As much as I've got this, like, he didn't show up, and he didn't show up on Saturday, but then again, no one really did, and to be honest, I really hope that he isn't starting to sort of develop an attitude like what Rowe had and what Camwell had before, where he's getting a bit too big for his boots, and he has every right to be. He's one of the best in the Championship by a mile, and I just hope he doesn't develop that sort of attitude, because
well, it's either his attitude or, well, let's be honest here. He knows he's a lot better than that Norwich side, but that means Norwich fans are expecting, oh yeah, we expect you to do the best, like 10 out of 10 performance week in, week out. Yeah. But Norwich fans need to learn that it's not a one-man sport, but your side is making it look like a one-man sport because Sainz is the only one doing something in that team, if we're being honest.
He's all we've got, really, at the moment. Like, for example, on Thursday, we're going to be without McLean again, so midfield will look a bit clueless once more. And we'll be without Sargent. 2 players. Yeah, I saw that. You're very happy. And we'll be without Sargent. This is a very emotional side, as Connor Southwell said on his verdict. And, players like Kenny McLean and Josh Sargent, 2 experienced players, an experienced midfielder and an experienced centre forward, they provide like sort of that emotional stability, and without those 2, we're lacking it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm gonna go on to it again. Okay. Here we go. This is the most involved we've got. Daniel has got with the results here.
Mm-hmm. So
Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. Yeah. Millwall ruin Blackburn's winning streak. Thanks to Ivanovic being the best Serbian in the Championship, mate. Mitrovic, who? I only know Ivanovic. What a header. I mean, it was... I could have scored that header.
Yeah, but, that's a huge result for Millwall. And honestly, a deserved one as well. Dominate the run of play. And it was just a good show from Millwall all around.
Livermore did show what he can do something as interim. Definitely a lot better than Adam Barrett would have done any day.
Yeah.
But Ivanovic clearly rose to the occasion. Our record signing finally getting some minutes and showing why he deserves them, getting that win for Blackburn. We were good. I like it. And maybe we get a new manager soon, but I'd say if Livermore beats Norwich, wouldn't mind it.
So also, an important point to mention, January transfer window coming up. Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to see Millwall try and get into the side?
The fact you think Millwall's going to sign someone in January amazes me. We're not going to sign anyone, knowing Millwall. We're not going to sign a single soul. But if I want someone, What am I thinking? I'd think either. Don't think. I don't really know what we need. If anything, we need some depth, maybe in the fullback position, because obviously Scanlon, who we got on loan for Liverpool, has that huge injury and he's not really got on the bench. Or maybe some depth at centre back would be good as well, because after Jake Cooper, you've got Murray Wallace or Sean Hutchinson, which, if we're being honest, they both turn about like a truck. And then you've got Tanganga, which is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with our squad. Maybe some, but we need depth, I think, is all I'd want. But what do you want from
Mm,
Norwich?
thinking about it, I think we've been linked
Everything but
with.
signs.
Well, yeah, well, I think we Signs won't leave in January.
Yeah.
That's already been confirmed by.
I heard Essie might leave in January, actually. That's a good point to make.
Wait, sorry,
Nottingham Forest
Nottingham
and
Forest.
Palace both want Essie.
Hmm.
Which means, if Nottingham Forest were to do the impossible, I could see Essie go from the Championship to the Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah. Forest are an interesting team. You know, they're just a couple of years back in the Premier League, and now they're going for top four after being
Who knows
relegated
what
to the
Clearly
bottom
Work is.
last season. Yeah. To be honest, I like to see. I think that Norwich do need to sign potentially.
Depth at striker.
Yes, depth at centre forward, and maybe once again a bit more depth at the back as well. We've been linked with. There's a young. I think he's a Polish goalkeeper that we've been linked with. Who.
Goalkeeper?
Yeah. Who we just
You
need
just
to.
said defender, mate.
Yeah. Well, we need. I think we should
I
sign.
mean,
We
you
can't really
literally
go
just.
all out in January because that's not really what clubs tend to do. Because that's just a bit silly. As striker, there is one person who I really like the look of, even though this one is probably the most unrealistic out of any options. Louis Barry.
Ooh.
Yeah,
He's more of a winger, but he can get goals,
yeah,
can he?
he's versatile, and like I've seen it. Like I've seen his highlights when he's been ripping it up with Stockport for the last two
Yeah,
seasons.
he's good.
Yeah, and he's just like he's young as well. He's got a lot of years. He's got a lot of years in him, and he's already got a really really good CV as well. Like he's played for Barcelona's youth teams, and he scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and that sort of thing. He seems like the full package, really. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
a winger who can play striker. That seems like a great deal.
It just
So
depends if he can obviously develop
yeah,
into the Championship. I mean, he clearly developed into League One.
yeah.
Maybe if there was any chance of a guy developing from League Two to League One to Championship, Louis Barry's my guy.
Of course, yeah, and then he can potentially work his way up the leagues and then work his way back into Villa's team. Maybe give him a few years. Even
Yeah,
though,
but Philogene tried to do that, and
yeah,
now look where he is. I want to see Philogene play football because
so
he
do
was
I.
good.
So do I. He was wonderful last season. I love watching him play for Hull. And
Yeah,
whenever someone brought up Jaden Philogene, I was thinking, oh, he's class.
that Rabona against
Yes,
Rotherham.
it's gorgeous.
I mean, to be fair, I could have scored a hat trick against Rotherham last season if
Yeah,
I tried.
they were awful. Yeah. So moving on to the results from good old League One. So Barnsley 0, Leyton Orient 4. You were saying a couple of weeks ago that Barnsley, they're in a lot of trouble. They've
Yeah.
with like the way they're going, they could be stagnating in League One for a very long time, and that's definitely added to their woes, hasn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Like Leighton Orient obviously came to play. Barnsley need to show soon why they need to go back to the Championship because again, like I said, 2-3 years if you're 2-3 years as a relegated side and you're in the same league you were relegated in. So say I get relegated from the Championship and I'm in League One. If I'm still in League One 2 or 3 years later, I'm either sitting around there and the mid-table for a few more years until we develop, or we get worse and get relegated.
Yeah, of course. And worth talking about, even though there has been a development with Northampton Town, they did lose 5-0 at home to Charlton. Charlton also came there to play, just as Leyton Orient did. Yeah, so that's certainly an interesting result. And yeah, Northampton do seem to be like maybe heading in the right direction. They've got who's their new man? They've got their new manager today, didn't they?
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after you say they lost 5-0, and then the next thing you say is, I think they're going in the right direction, might want to rephrase that a bit, mate.
Well, it depends on how. Yeah, this is this guy, Kevin Nolan. You know, West Ham legend and
Oh,
Newcastle
yeah.
ex-Newcastle player as well. Yeah.
He's a good manager, to
Yeah,
be
he
fair.
was good in sort of like the back office for David Moyes' West Ham team, and you know this is his first time managing properly, being like properly taking the helm as a first team manager. But how do you think like things could change for Northampton? Do you think they could change for the better or the worse? Because they are in a serious relegation battle right now.
It's a gamble because you don't know because Kevin Nolan's not really had a managerial job. This is like the gamble you have to take if you want to develop into a better team and get to the top in the next few years. You have to take these gambles. Like when Mill did the gamble with Joe Edwards, clearly regretted it, but we've turned out for the better still. But
Yeah.
Kevin Nolan, I know it's bad. I'm not sure if he actually managed the game against Charlton. If he did, then bit of a rough start. But
Yeah.
yeah, so again, like I said with Jurich, give him 1-2 months, analyse how he's done, and then maybe it's either you see the results and they're either going in the right direction or the wrong direction. But as you've reminded me about managerial appointments, there was something about managerial appointments that we've even forgot. But I've just remembered
Oh,
because it reminds me of Millwall and Charlton. You were on about Charlton and then managers, and it got me straight to Millwall. Oxford United appointed Gary Rowett, didn't they, as the new manager for
huh.
Oxford United. So the first thing I'll say is I'll see you. I'll see Oxford United in League One next season. Anyway,
Yeah.
people are saying, "Oh yeah, good manager did well at Millwall."
He didn't
It's
exactly.
from what I saw, but I think people have completely forgotten Birmingham City
Birmingham
job
City. Yep,
didn't
I was just
exist.
about to say that.
Yeah, like no one talked about it. They were saying how good he was at Millwall. We're not talking about how bad he was at Birmingham.
Yeah, he
But
was.
I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, he
Is
was sort
Gary
of.
Rowett the right move?
Probably not. I mean, he didn't
Bingo.
like. He got Birmingham relegated with 50 points, which is painful and all. But yeah, like it's not exactly promising. It's. I don't really know what Oxford are going to do now. How they could potentially change. Of course, they lost 4-0 to Leeds at the
Rowett
weekend.
didn't manage that one,
Yeah. Well, but yeah,
but still they lost
only time
anyway.
will tell. I guess that all Oxford fans can do is just trust in him because he's stuck. They're stuck with him, and
Bad luck. He's got to play at the Den. He's got to play at the Den though, Gary Rowett. Can't wait for that.
he's gonna, yeah, he's gonna
He's
get a
gonna get
proper.
proper abuse.
Yes, he will. God. Yeah, and I reckon there is potentially another person. There's another person who could be getting another person to do with Millwall who could potentially be getting abuse if he's still if he's in at that point. Even though that is
You
very
dropped the
unlikely, as
microphone.
Livermore probably will be. Livermore probably still will be. Alex Neil.
Ooh.
Eh. So like,
See,
yeah, go on. Let's see your thoughts.
I don't know how to feel. Like, I know he got. Did he get sacked at Stoke in the end?
Yes, he did. In
Yeah.
fact, I think
But then so did Steven Schumacher, and we saw how good he was at Plymouth, Steven Schumacher.
he was.
And then people have tried to rebuild Stoke many, many times, and every single one of them have failed. But then before Schumacher went to Stoke, he had a big reputation at Plymouth because let's be honest, he was so good
He
for
was. He
Plymouth
was brilliant.
Argyle.
Got him, won him that League One title, and I think they would have stayed up much more comfortably if they kept him in.
Yeah, but no, I feel Alex Neil could be the right appointment because Stoke City is a hard team to rebuild. Millwall obviously doesn't have, as a Millwall fan, we don't really have big expectations this year after our little fall off. But playoffs, I'd be very happy if he managed to do that. But just realistically mid-table or maybe just above in the higher end of the table, I'd say that's a successful season for us, and maybe
Yeah.
we can develop forward with Alex Neil, as he's probably more of the manager you go forward with.
Yeah, he did Of course, I'd say the last time he did a really, really good job as a manager was probably with Sunderland. Got him promoted from League One, and then he was much less successful at Stoke. He's had an interesting career, really. I think in the 15-16 season, I thought Norwich were sort of okay for that, but there was just a couple of results that we should have probably taken 3 points in, which we sort of threw. But he got us our first win at Old Trafford since 1989. Even though these days that isn't really a hard thing to do, to be honest. But yeah, he certainly had. He's had an interesting career as a manager. It's been sort of full of ups and downs, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, the big result from League 2 this weekend: Newport County 6, MK Dons 3. So yeah, MK Dons' woes seem to be continuing.
AFC Wimbledon fans will be very happy.
Yep, AFC, of course they will. In fact, I'm happy for them as well. Bloody screw MK Dons, honestly. They're not a real team.
Yeah. Wimbledon was so good back in their day.
Yeah. Yeah. Another very bad day in the office for Tom McGill. That's for certain. But yeah, let's all talk about it. Not one, but 2 hat-tricks on the same team for Newport County. Morris and Camwa. You get some crazy results like that in the lower leagues. And of course, we got a 6-3 result in the Premier League, which doesn't happen very often, but it's madness.
No, not at all. But to be fair, I remember last week Spurs won 5-0 against Southampton.
Yeah.
The other weeks or so, Spurs won 5-0 against Southampton. It seems that Spurs love a massive goal thriller. But back to Newport County and MK Dons, Newport County were good on the day, especially those 2 hat-tricks. I mean, never really expect 2 hat-tricks especially not by the same team at all. No chance. That is brilliant for Newport County because that makes them I think it gives them momentum, because I'm not really knowing how good their form has been recently because obviously I'm that good of a League 2 knowledge there. But no, it was a good result for Newport County to take, and it's MK Dons should definitely be doing a lot better against the Newport County side.
Considering the amount, they're probably, considering the stadium they've got, and probably on paper, they've probably got one of the better teams. But yeah, so moving on, looking ahead to Boxing Day, we will fight forevermore because of Boxing Day.
Have you forgot about the Vanarama National League there, mate?
Oh, snap.
Exposed him. I exposed him.
Oh, you caught me. Yeah.
Got him.
Right, National League.
Flip that right now.
Yeah,
he has been flipped.
Let's take a look at the table. The title race in the National League is really, really, really spicing up. York City are currently top. They drew what did you say? They
Barnet drew 1-1 to Halifax, which after York got their result, that sends them to the top of the league, and it puts the serious challenge on for Barnet because Barnet now need results and positive ones as much as possible to get themselves back in that top spot. As again, we said before, a few weeks ago, how difficult it is to get out of the National League because obviously, when you get promoted from the National League, this team could be so good and get promoted in League 2 the next season because there's just so many more opportunities to get promoted in League 2 than there is the National League. With 2 promotion spots in the National League, it's a lot harder than League 2 that has 4 promotion spots.
I mean, like Chesterfield and Bromley, I'd say that both teams are very happy with how their seasons are going so far. And yeah, it just shows there really isn't much between the 2 leagues, as much as people say.
Yeah, no, there's not at all. Because again, Chesterfield are flying high. I think they're in playoff spots, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, I think they're 7th, which is the final playoff spot.
Yeah, which shows what the differences for the National League because Chesterfield were obviously too good for National League, which meant they're either doing really well in League 2 or this has just been an absolute fluke of a season, which rarely happens, let's be honest. But Chesterfield was so good. I was expecting them playoff spots or just mid-table, and I've got what they got there. It's just been perfect.
Yeah. So now, looking ahead to Boxing Day, yeah,
Yep.
plenty going on. So first of all, let's take a look at the fixtures that are coming up in the EFL Championship. So, Blackburn Rovers versus Sunderland is the one at the top of the list.
Oh. You sure that's top of the list though?
Yeah, well, it's just what it says when I look up the match day's fixtures.
I was like to say, if that's top of your list, you've gone very wrong.
Nah, my one at the top of the list: Norwich City versus Millwall at Carrow Road. Let's have it! Come on! I'm losing my voice here. Ugh. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one since the fixtures came out in July, and I've been thinking to myself, come on, we've got Millwall at home on Boxing Day. Let's go, get in. So yeah, it's going to be a very spicy fixture. Millwall have now got the chance to potentially embarrass Norwich again, which to be honest isn't very difficult to do at the moment. Because, to be honest, we seem to be embarrassing ourselves.
Yeah, but this is Millwall Football Club, mate. We've not beat Norwich at Carrow Road for ages. If there's any chance to do it, it's now, and we still won't do it.
Yeah, there's another fixture. The fixture that's worth talking about: Sheffield United versus Burnley. That's the big one at the top of the tree. So, of course, Sheffield United over the last couple of years haven't got a favourable league against favourable record against the Clarets. So is this a chance for Burnley to potentially get back into the top two, because I think they're fourth at the moment, aren't they?
I think they went up to third and Sunderland are fourth, if I'm correct. Yeah. But oh, hey, look at that. Yeah. That's championship knowledge. Shows my lack of League 2 knowledge, but gain of championship knowledge, I'm up there.
United, they're top of the league. Leeds are second, Burnley are third. So this is a good chance for
Burnley to make that push, which I think can happen.
Leapfrog Leeds say that they lose to Stoke on Thursday, which is the 8 o'clock kickoff. So yeah, it's really spicing up, and every point counts, even not even halfway through the season, which we're very close to. Every single point counts. It all adds up. So
indeed.
In League One, before we get on to the Premier League, let's do the lower leagues because they deserve they deserve to come first. Right now, of course, Crawley Town versus Birmingham has just kicked off. We're in the first minute of that, which will be a very important game for both teams.
If Crawley Town get the result, then Wrexham have a good chance of pushing that second place, and Birmingham should be very disappointed in themselves.
Indeed, absolutely. Crawley, considering the amount of players that they sold in the summer transfer window, which I thought was ridiculous. But yeah,
the one thing I remember about Crawley was them signing Toby's brother from the side, man, Jed Brown. That guy was my FIFA card for sure. I actually bought that card.
He's
pretty fast, to be fair. But no disrespect to Jed, but I'd love it if you got some dribbling, mate.
Yeah.
And some shooting would be pretty decent.
Rotherham against Wigan Athletic on the Boxing Day. Rotherham are being just as poor as they were last season, this season right now, which is is weird because they switched out their managers, and I thought they were going to be doing much better. In fact, a Doncaster fan told me that they were going to be doing much better, but it doesn't seem to be changing for them.
Well, I think I said it before. I said it was because of Victor Johansson, didn't I? Victor Johansson losing a keeper like him, like I said before, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna cost you, and I don't think they found the right guy to replace him. So if they can go out and find someone there in January, maybe they could turn their season around. As I think, not only is it probably players aren't fighting enough, they need that established goalkeeper that they had before.
Yeah. So in League 2, another big fixture around the top end of the table.
Okay.
Bradford City versus Port Vale.
Not the one I'd be thinking of whatsoever, but okay.
Yeah. What were you thinking of?
Well, I don't know what results were on. I don't know what games were on.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, good chance for Bradford to capitalise. Of course, they've been having a mid-season. They're sort of like in and around. They're
That's what you
currently
expect though from Bradford.
they're currently 12th at the moment, and they're four. I think they're 4 odd points off the playoffs. They're Notts County are in 7th. So and
You said Chesterfield was 7th, didn't you?
oh no, Chesterfield have gone up to 5th because they beat Wimbledon.
You just okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I remember that they beat Wimbledon, but like I didn't realise how much it changed. But yeah, Port Vale, they're currently 2nd, and so it's Walsall and Port Vale and Doncaster who currently occupy the 3 automatic places. So
Yeah, Port Vale have had a good season though, haven't they?
yeah,
They've been very clinical, and now Walsall. I didn't realise how good they were until I saw Mill were going for the manager. But again, if we were to get that guy, which I know we're probably going to get Alex Neil now, but if we were to get the Walsall manager, I'd feel it's not right because it's too big of a jump. If he was establishing himself, if it was to be a next season plan, and we were to do this next season, and he won the title with Walsall and was possibly pushed to promotion with Walsall in League One, I'd be like, yeah, this is the right guy. But no, I wouldn't have a guy that's top of League Two jump himself all the way to the Championship. If you know Levi POVs off of TikTok, he is not that guy.
Yeah. So I understand. So in the Premier League, so Man City, the 12:30 kickoff is Man City versus Everton.
Everton win. Just saying. See you later.
Yeah, could very well look that way. And
If Everton win, I'm going to be very happy because it'll be so funny.
Southampton are hosting West Ham at St Mary's, and to be honest,
Can't wait for Jurich to get his first win under Southampton helm.
Yeah, to be honest, I say, in my opinion, anything but 3 points is a failure.
Yeah.
Right now, because the thing is, Southampton, it's just a team you need to be beating. Anyone needs to be beating them, really. So it's got to be 3 points for West Ham there. But knowing the football that Julian Lopetegui can play, it's not promising. That's for certain, and there's no consistency either. But and the 5:30 kickoff is certainly the interesting one. Wolves versus Man United. Now,
I don't know how that's going to go now.
I can see it going either way, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Vitor Pereira did do well for his first game in charge, to be fair.
He did. I wasn't expecting that one at all.
He won 3-0, 4-0?
Yeah, 3-0 at the King Power.
Was it against Leicester? Yeah.
Against Leicester.
Van Nistelrooy finally being exposed. As much as I said how good he was, he just needs to bounce himself back quick.
Yeah, indeed. Absolutely.
I didn't expect a guy from Al Shabab to be doing so well. I always used to call him Al Kebab, so it reminded me of that. Might show I might have a bit of a food problem, but let's just shove that aside, shall we? That isn't my kebab I'm shoving aside. I'll be eating that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can murder a kebab right now, honestly. I'm hungry.
Yeah. Brilliant. This is going to be a football talk, guys. Let's get back to the real conversation.
But, yeah, it's also what Amorim, speaking of another person who needs to bounce back instantly, Amorim needs to bounce back very quickly as well, because, you just need to take every game as it comes, and, I think it will be, like, even though I said it could go either way, I think that Man United will win, but they just need to...
could actually get a draw. I think it's going to be a draw.
Could very well get a draw here. So
I think the Test Cunha is going to get a brace and last minute goal 2-2.
Yep, of course. So yeah, Friday night football is Arsenal versus Ipswich.
You're making that sound like NFL then.
Sorry. Yeah. The Friday night kickoff, Arsenal against Ipswich. So yeah, it's been a bit of a rough sort of last couple of weeks for Ipswich. They beat Wolves, and then last weekend they lost 4-0 at home to Newcastle. Jacob Murphy, take a bow.
Oh, thanks Isak for getting me my fantasy points. I didn't make the playoffs in my NFL fantasy, so I actually decided to change the fantasy Premier League team up a bit.
So massive W Geordies then, but yeah, his chance for Arsenal to potentially like try and get themselves if Liverpool and Chelsea both drop points, then it's a chance for Arsenal to like get themselves back
Arsenal
into
could
the title
jump.
race potentially.
I just hope City don't have a really good run in the New Year's because it
Yeah, fair
sucks.
enough. But
I just want City to be bad for once,
of course, yeah, we all want Man City to be bad because they've just been dominant for.
After the 12-year-old plastic fans.
Yes, of course. Just shut them up. They'll all go back to supporting Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's all that's pretty much all we've got for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're very close to 100 subscribers. In fact, we're just a few away. We're even closer than we were on Saturday. So make sure to
Well.
yeah.
I am pleased to say I have hit 70.
Hey.
71 at the moment, but if I could get some more people on there soon enough, maybe I'll be at that 100 mark.
Yeah.
But if I could, I'm aiming towards that 75, 80, hopefully by the end of the year. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, get Danny Boy to 100 as well, and your
And
boy
go check out the
to.
live stream that I released, thanks to my great commentaries said by my podcast partner.
So, thanks very much for watching. Please do consider liking and subscribing to both our channels, and I'll see you all again very, 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 very soon. Cheers.
Yeah.